What's up, JEFusion fans? This is Philip, and welcome back to Final Fantasy War of the Visions Brave Exvius, or War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, actually. But anyways, this video is my kind of a top character list, or rather my favorite character list. This video isn't meant for saying who's the best character or which ones should you pick. These are just my personal favorites, okay? This isn't really much of a recommendation video, or, like I've said, this isn't supposed to recommend which characters you should pick, but this is just, my personal list. So if you're a War of Divisions player, leave in the comments your favorites, and yeah, let's begin. So, as you can see, I've already sorted my favorite characters here, the ones with the stars, of course. So, let's begin. So, first off, Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII, more specifically, the remake. So, Cloud right now is my #1 damage dealer. He's just that OP, in my opinion. With a Buster Sword, and especially if you got the proper cards and summons that you need to improve Cloud's abilities, yep, he'll practically one-shot almost everyone. Of course, he has weaknesses, and there are enemies that will probably survive his attacks, mainly Earth units, but overall, Cloud is still very handy. So the next character I have is Titus, and before I had Cloud, he's basically my most powerful character, and he's the first character that I was able to get to 120. Because he's also one of the first characters who had this EX job system, and he's definitely very reliable with his high speed, high critical hit. But right now, I mainly use him as an anti-fire unit. So yeah, but nonetheless, he has provided me with a lot of victories. I was able to get out of a lot of sticky situations with his help, so still, very, you know, I still have an attachment to Titus. So yeah, that's why I like him. And next is Cecil from Final Fantasy IV. So he recently got his EX job, and I just managed to get him to 120. So I guess right now he's my second damage dealer after Cloud. He has naturally high attack, and the light element is really strong. And after the rerun of Final Fantasy IV, you get his legendary sword, which provides an extremely high attack, I would say. And yeah, definitely someone you would want in your party. So next off here is Rain. Now, before I actually built Rain as more of a tank, and he still is up to this day. However, when I was able to get my hands on the Crimson Saber, I actually built him for magic attacks. He still functions very much like a magic tank, as he should be. That's what's intended for him. But especially now that he's level 120, he definitely deals a lot of magic damage as well. Of course, provided that you also give him the right cards and summons, he will definitely be a viable magic attacker as well. So next here is Warrior of Light, and he's one of my favorite tanks in the entire game. So Of course, being the very first protagonist from the original Final Fantasy, although this version is kind of more of the Dissidia inspired character, but nonetheless, he represents the first Final Fantasy, so yeah, there's that attachment as well. And now we have Ayaka, my waifu in the game. So, before Yuna came along, she's considered the best healer, and well, probably not the best healer right now. Again, with the introduction of Yuna and other seemingly more powerful units, she is still, especially if you've been playing early on, she's the best healer for me. And she has a lot of reliable white mage skills, and you can also turn her into a time mage sub job, so you get more supports. But yeah, she has helped me survive a lot of battles. Uh, just make sure you keep her alive though, because she'll go down pretty easily. And Lucio here. Now, Lucio, I will recommend especially for new players. Now, he is free to get, he is easy to get to 120. Just do all of his missions and you'll get all the materials you need. And with the light element, he is going to be very powerful, he is fast, he does a lot of critical hits, so he is very reliable for attacks. And we have King Mont here. So, another excellent tank, and if you equip him with a lot of fire ability or fire attack increments, so if you, let's say, put Ifrit on him and put the Ifrit card, uh, not only does he become more powerful in attacking, but with the fire element bonus damage, he'll be viable for attacks as well. But you can also build him as a pure tank, no problem. And Dwayne. Now, I do have kind of a bias for Dark Knights, and that's probably the main reason I love Dwayne. But the Dark Element is also powerful, so Light and Dark Elements are extremely powerful units. So, having Dwayne in my party is amazing. And he does kind of remind me, like, with his armor, uh, he reminds me of the knights from Dark Knights, actually from Final Fantasy Tactics and the Nintendo DS version of Final Fantasy 3. So his armor takes inspiration from those. But yeah, he does have a lot of powerful dark attacks with not really status effects, but debuffs. So pretty nice. And Volusia. Now, Volusia is, I wouldn't say he's a niche character, but he recently came out in global, at least as of this video. But Volusia offers a really unique set of skills. So he looks like a samurai, but his attacks scale with his magic stat. So basically, he's a magic version of a samurai. He looks cool. He wields a, significantly large katana. Although, ironically, he has low attack. But again, you don't need to have high attack on him. Scale up his magic, and he will deal insane damage. And he also has the White Mage sub-job, so if you want, you can also turn him into a support character, and he has the re-raise, which fully fully restores HP to a revived character. So that's really nice to have as well. And we have Tifa because, well, who doesn't like Tifa? Probably Ares fans, but I'm more of a Tifa guy myself. So The only reason why she's not level 120 is, well, unfortunately, because of Cloud. I was focusing on getting Cloud to 120, that I basically ignored Tifa, but hey, I got her to 102 at least. I can probably uh, get her to 120, but that'll take a long time. But still, yeah, she's quick, and she has nice abilities, and can even be a tank if you sub job Paladin. But yeah, I do suggest that if you're playing as Tifa, just keep her on the attacking side. Howlet. I used to love how powerful Howlet was, but without his 120, like, if since he's not 120 yet, or he doesn't have an EX job yet, it kind of hampers his potential. He is an interesting character, so kind of like Volusia, in in the fact that he's kind of a swordsman, but his main attacks scale with magic. So yeah, and actually, because he is wind element, he in Varouche actually, will do well in a wind composition, or wind slash composition, or wind magic composition. They will work together very, very well. So I have Summer Kill Faye. So she is my first summer unit. Unfortunately, I didn't focus on maxing her because, well, Golbez came out. I like Golbez though, and because she's my first summer unit, my first swimsuit unit. Well, why the heck not put her in this list? Just for the reason. But I do see her as like a heavy hitter, heavy attacker. So focus on that aspect of her, and she will decimate enemies, especially dark units. And we have Thancred. I think Thancred should be the last in this list. But anyways, Thancred, I really like him because, well, look at him. He has a gun blade. And I do love Final Fantasy VIII. It's one of my favorite Final Fantasy games. And, of course, his main job, Gunbreaker, is a reference to it's called Leonhardt, and actually his main weapon, Lionheart Imitation, well, it's kind of a homage to Squall's most powerful gunblade, the Lionheart. Now, his job class classifies him as an attacker, but he does have a lot of he does have a couple of skills that allow him and other teammates to be tanks, especially if you have Heart of Stone, and then he casts it on himself. Now, he's stuck on level 79, which is kind of sad, but I do hear that Final Fantasy XIV is going to have a rerun, and he'll have an EX version coming soon, so I'm excited for that, and when it does come, I will get him to 120. Now, the other thing that I like about Thancred is he was one of my most powerful characters up until he got stuck to level 79. But during the time that I was using him, he was typically the last man standing on my team, so I gave him the name Tank Red because he was able to tank most enemy attacks, and sometimes I win thanks to Thancred. So, and I forgot. I almost forgot Garvel here. So, Garvel is basically one of my favorite magic users in the game. Now, what's interesting about him is his job. So, I call it an energist. So, he has magic attacks. Like, he looks like a monk, but his attacks are magic based. So, he's a magic monk. And he likes throwing energy balls at his enemies. I like it. So, Garvel is an interesting magic character to have. I do like the dark element as well. So yeah, so these are my favorite Final Fantasy or Final Fantasy War of the Visions characters. So if you're a War of the Visions player, who are your favorites? So please feel free to write them down in the comments below. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you get the latest from JEFusion. This has been Philip, and I'll see you on the next Final Fantasy War of the Visions Brave Exvius. Or should I have said the War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave Exvius? I guess that would have been the more correct term, right? So anyways, see you again.